Yeah, actually. Okay, ke bone ka mokgwa o lang a e dileng ka ona. I break her down. Ta mmiela pelwana. Oh.
Okay, cool. We're now recording. Now recording. Can somebody just quickly unmute themselves? Let me know if you can see the screen where it says English Home Language Grade 12, the blue screen, just so we can get going, guys.
We can see.
Can see the screen. Okay, excellent, guys. Okay, excellent. I'm now recording. So yeah, guys, quick welcome. Welcome to the English Home Language Grade 12, provided by Dripanomics Tutorials, Paper 1, Session 2. Those online, welcome. If you haven't seen it, the previous session, it's on the YouTube channel. You can catch it there, where we covered, comprehension and summaries, how to complete those two sections. So yeah, for today, 6th of April, can we all mute ourselves before we continue, guys? Let's just make sure we're all muted. Those who are joining us, they'll join us along the way. But yeah, guys, I think I've introduced myself too many times now. Tumi, I'm your English home language tutor and Afrikaans first additional language tutor. But yeah, if you haven't found my introduction, you can find it on other videos. So today's plan, guys, is simple. Balana Manos. Today we're going over visual literacy, your advertisements, how to answer those questions,
Power.
your cartoons. Yeah, guys, can I kindly ask that we all mute ourselves as we plan for today's session so that we don't disturb others? Others just learn quietly. But I must do it quickly. Yeah. Let's just quickly share this. Let's just do this quick. No.
Vukado, can you please mute yourself because we are disturbing our class?
Yeah, Vukodo, please mute yourself there so we can continue. Okay, cool. Excellent. Let's check. Yeah, I think she's muted now. Cancel. Back to my screen. Okay, yeah, guys, let's continue. Yeah, planning for today's session: visual literacy, advertisements, cartoons, what we're looking at, how to answer them. We're going to analyze that. Going forward, what's the plan? I think since now, by the end of this session today, we will have completed paper 1. I think it would be best now to start focusing on what your struggles are. So at the end of this meeting in our English group, I'll be sending a poll, and then you guys will just let me know what you guys struggle with the most. We can tackle that in our upcoming sessions. And also, guys, if you have speeches or projects due, that's what our English group is for. If you don't want to send it on the group where you need assistance, you can send it to me personally. I'll be there to assist. Okay, yeah. Then today, with the main focus point for today, tackle the past paper that we started with last week. And yeah, guys, just a kindly note, this is a 2-hour session, so there will be a break in between when we change
Sorry,
sessions.
sir, we can't see the screen.
Okay, let me do this. Thank you for letting me know, guys. You know how we do it this side. If you have a problem or you can't see, just shout. Let me do this quickly. Just shout, then we can sort it out. Because we have had some screen sharing issues. I think we'll have to look into that and why that happens. Yeah. Let's do this. I think now it stops sharing my screen. Then we can try share the screen again. Okay, cool. Let's try sharing the screen again. Then you guys can let me know. Let's do this. share screen. Yeah. Yeah, can you guys see my screen now? Just give me a thumbs up. I'll be able to see. Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Offense can see the screen. Okay, good, good, good. Krista, Ratile, Tando, good, good, guys. I see all of you guys. Let's continue. So if I've done the intro, I've done the planning for today, I've done the main focus point, and just know there'll be a break in between when we switch
Say,
slots.
I still can't see you.
Okay, I think is it who's that? Is it Noctula? Is it Noctula who can't see the screen, or who is it?
Yes, it's Noctula.
Okay, so Noctula, if you're joining on your phone, just swipe up there. You should be able to see my screen. Like swipe up where you can't see the people. You should be able to see my screen because I'm also joining on my phone, so the others should be able to see. I can also see on my phone the screen that I'm sharing. So otherwise, just leave the meeting, join again. Hopefully, you can see the screen. But I'm pretty sure everyone else can see the screen. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I'm also joining on the phone, so I think everything should be running. Yeah, she'll just rejoin. But let's continue, guys. Otherwise, this recording will be posted, and I can start, and it's being recorded. Okay, guys. So today's lesson, I'm gonna give you techniques, tips, and tricks that are used for visual literacy advertisements. Cartoons I can't really give because they're different. They usually have rhetorical questions and satire. Sometimes they take a jab at the government, so I can't really give you a set and specific tips and tricks for cartoons. But advertisements I can, because there's a way that you analyze advertisements. So if you look here, we'll come back to this principle. Let's just focus quickly on the steps that you need to keep in mind when analyzing advertisements, if you can see here. Okay, cool. Let me just do this. Yeah, steps to keep in mind when analyzing advertisements now. So guys, advertisements are not tricky as they look. You just need to know what they're asking you. Make sure you understand the advertisement. What is it talking about? It's all about understanding. Okay, so the first step is to obviously read the advertisement. I mean, I don't need to put that in here. Like, look at the advertisement. What do you understand from it? What do you see? What things stand out to you? The pictures and stuff that can make you understand the advertisement better. Okay, then the next step is to underline the verbs in the instructions or questions, as well as the aspects the verbs refer to. So they might ask you, for example, in a Coca-Cola advert, why is the Coca-Cola in this advert in a big size, or why is the font bigger? So the keyword can there be perhaps the keyword, I would say keyword, not verb necessarily. The keyword will be big, so you can focus on why it's big, and in your answer try to answer what they're asking you specifically. But remember, guys, these documents that I create with all these steps, they're just for reference. Okay, we don't need to pick and choose what we want. You just use it. Maybe if you're doing past papers on your own and you get stuck, you can be able to refer to these documents that I've referred. But the main focus is past papers. Yeah, guys, remember, in this lesson, you have questions, you can type them in the chat box, unmute yourself, or just raise your hand. But I hope we're good so far. The next step is the instruction verbs that you can expect in an advertisement are as follows. They might ask you to explain in a question, identify why this advertisement is the way it is, comment on. I think we covered this in our previous document. You'll start to see the pattern start to form, and you'll start to become more confident in answering these questions. Critically discuss, account for, all these things are in the previous document. Like I said, I'll send them on the group if you haven't gone through them, but I'm not really going to touch on them today. But these are the types of verbs that you can expect in advertisement or cartoon questions. Okay, next step is to ensure that your response or your answer addresses the instruction or question directly. So in advertisements, I try to keep as far away as possible from my opinion unless I'm asked to give my opinion. So when you answer an advertisement question, make sure you answer what they're asking you, guys. so that we can avoid losing unnecessary marks. So you'll see in the past papers, the questions we're going to do today, just try and answer what they're asking you directly. Try stay away from your own opinion, because an advertisement can be viewed differently. I might see the Coke bottle to be blue, the other one might see it to be red. At the end of the day, it's your opinion. It's how you view it. You might find that it's funny to you, or sometimes it's not funny to you. So unless the question asks for your own opinion, try stay away from it and just focus on what you see and what the viewer most likely will see. Like I said, there's no wrong or right answer, but just try and focus on what you see in the advert. And then lastly, avoid generic answers that are vague. Answer the question the best you possibly can. So remember in our previous lesson, I gave you steps on how to get these 3 marks and 4 marks question. If you're gonna say something, back it up with proof from the text or the advert or whatever you see in the exam. That's how you get these 3-4 marks question for you to get full marks. You can't just say, well, I see this, but you don't have proof to back up what you see or what you think is happening in the advertisement. So there's some nice questions we'll practice. One by one, you'll start to see the patterns. So yeah, guys, those are the steps to keep in mind when analyzing adverts, cartoons, or anything along that line of visual literacy. And I've seen in some exam papers, whether it's for basic education or for private schools, it's really irrelevant. Some exam papers ask a question that asks you to relate to the ADA principle. So for those who haven't heard of that before, we're quickly gonna go through it. So the question might come in a sense of they ask you to analyze this advert or this cartoon or whatever using the ADA principle. So what is the ADA principle? ADA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. So if you see a question that asks you to relate to this principle, guys, just make sure Balanama notes, you're gonna get the 4 marks now, because it's usually 4 marks, 5 marks. You're gonna get it because now we're gonna go through what they expect or how they expect you to answer this question. And obviously I'll send a document that has examples and everything so that you guys are well prepared for your exams going forward. So we start with the first one, A. This stands for attention. So usually relating to an advert, they'll ask you, or you should be able to see, for the first step is how does this advertisement capture the attention of the viewer. This way you'll be expected to go into details. So how does this advertisement capture the attention of the viewer? Is it the font size? Is it the size of the shapes? Is it the color? I know most past papers or examinations these days are in black and white, but usually for adverts I see some exams are coming in color, because that's where you need to focus on your color, the language that is used. So how does the advert capture the attention of the viewer? You understand? Go into detail with that. Then we go to the next one, interest. This is what the I stands for. It stands for interests, and this basically wants you to elaborate on what maintains the viewer's interest in the advert. It might be certain phrases. This could be pictures, persuasive phrases that relate to the target audience. That's what maintains the viewer. For example, you'll see an advert once, maybe let's say it's about what? Let's say it's about soccer boots. You understand? So only those interested in playing soccer and understanding the language of soccer will be interested to keep on reading further or viewing the advert further. So that's what the I stands for in the ADA principle, and how you will view this advertisement and how to answer them. Okay. Then the D. The D stands for desire. So how does this advertisement create a desire for the viewer to get the product or whatever is being advertised? Is it the desire to be the next Messi? Understand that type of thing. Just give me a moment here. I can't eat, my friend. I'm busy. Yes, I'm busy with schoolwork. Sharp. Yeah, guys, sorry about that. So, where was I? I can see that the screen is still sharing, still recording. So, yeah, desire. How does the advert create a desire for the viewer to get the product or whatever is being advertised? Like I said, is it about being the next Messi with these soccer boots? Is it about Red Bull giving you wings? You understand? So this can be seen by the advert using values or benefits that can relate to their target audience. That's most likely what these advertisements use to, generate desire in these adverts. And then the last one, guys, in the ADA principle, A, the last A, this one stands for action. So how does this advertisement, invoke action for the viewer to take? This can be seen by an email or website or even phone numbers being provided for the viewer to initiate action on the spot. So you can answer this whole ADA principle, but specifically for the action part, you can say perhaps, how does this advert invoke action? It invokes action by pestering or perhaps paraphrasing or emphasizing that this viewer must call this number if they want to get the next Red Bull, or the Red Bull is running out. That's a phrase that can invoke action. Or call this number, we're only taking the next 50 spots. You understand? Phrases like that that you can read in between the lines and manage to, answer this whole formal question on ADA and make sure it looks presentable and makes sense. Some past papers might have it, some past papers might not, but I just saw it fit that we explain ADA principle to those who know and maybe those who don't know it, just as a refresher course on how to answer. So going forward, I will try find past papers that have it, just so that come final exams, you're not surprised or shocked. And then, any questions so far? Is everyone good? Is everyone good? I know it's been a long weekend. Those who are watching football or whatever, don't worry, guys. Man City, I'm not worried. Those Man City fans, yeah, don't worry. Okay, you're all good. I saw a thumbs up there. Okay, let's tidy up the rest of this document and then we can start the past paper. Just 2 more pages here. So now, language, we're gonna go into language as well for today. So I just thought, just a refresher course, a word bank for language questions. It's gonna be impossible, guys, to, I know nothing's impossible, but in a 2 hour slot, it's really gonna be really difficult to explain every single small. Yes, can you hear me? Does anyone have a question that I can answer quickly, or are you all good? Fencer says it's half time, relax. No, don't worry, guys. I don't even know what's going on. I just know who's gonna win. But yeah, key terms, word bank for language questions. So, like I said, guys, it's gonna be tricky to explain every single term in a 2 hour slot. So, the best I can do in our English group, I'll be very active, sending you some activities to try examples that explain things better than what I could have explained in today's session. Then going forward, it'll just be practice. Practice makes perfect, guys. Practice makes perfect. So yeah, key terms, the basic ones, a synonym, I'm sure you all know that. It's a word, a phrase, or morpheme that means the same as another. It's basically a word when they ask you to find a synonym for, I don't know, anything. It could be anything. I can't think of an example at the top of my head. But yeah, synonym is a word that I expect can have this similar meanings, but not the word that they ask you for. Antonym is the opposite. I'm sure you can read the meaning for yourself. That is just a refresher course because we might find questions in past papers like that. A paronym, some people might not have heard of a paronym. So a paronym is basically words that are pronounced or written in a similar way but have different meanings. So there are many examples of paronyms. If I can think of one example now on the top of my head, just so that you guys can understand what is a paronym. A paronym, another example, I think, is effect and affect. So there's effect that's written with E. What effect does this have on Messi or whoever? And then there's an affect that has an E, an A in the beginning. Affect. How does it influence? Effect, result, or what it has, and then affect. So you can see that they're pronounced or written in a similar way. It might be a homonym or homophone, but paronym is basically a different experience to what a homonym or homophone might be. So guys, homonym, the sound and spelling are the same. they're exactly the same, but only the meaning changes. And then homophone, a word that is pronounced the same as another word, but differs in meaning. So you can see that paronym and homophone are quite similar. So you might see in an exam, they might say, what is a paronym? But when you only know what homophone means. So you understand, here at Dripanomics, we try to teach you the broader perspective and make sure you master the basics. And then the last one, a polyseme. This is a symbol, word, or phrase that can have many different meanings. You understand? So we might find examples of that in the past paper, but this was just a basic word bank. And then if you continue to the last page of this document, these are many terms, key terms that people find in exams that can catch you off guard. You might not understand what they need. So refresher course just before exams, going through these documents I send, these can help a lot. So a hyphen. Me, I knew this thing as a dash, guys. So I don't know about you, but Balana notes, it's actually not a dash, it's a hyphen. So a hyphen can be used in compound words to link the words to prefixes and to show word breaks. So in language, the questions are straightforward. They're not trying to trick you. So you just have to know your work, because the question might come as, what is the purpose of the hyphen in this text? Then you must just know what is the purpose of a hyphen and answer to the best of your ability. You get your marks. You check. And then a colon, what we have here, those two dots. The colon can be used to introduce a quotation, an example, a series, or an explanation to separate two independent clauses to show emphasis. It can also be used to list things. You understand? So that's what a colon is used for. Then we have three more here. A semicolon, the one with the comma and the dot. This is used to separate two independent clauses while still demonstrating that a close relationship exists between them. So in a list, when you're maybe listing grocery items, you start with a colon. You understand? Maybe, for example, you be sending a list to your friend or whatever. Please go buy these grocery items, and then you put a colon, and then through each item you can put a semicolon or whatever, just to show that whatever you are buying, these are the things that are included in the grocery list. I'm not saying go buy from Clicks and then go buy from ShopRite and then go buy KFC on grocery day month. You understand? They're not closely related. So that's the difference between the two. Then you have an apostrophe. An apostrophe is, it's used to show that certain letters have been omitted from a word to show the possessive form of a noun. Don't worry, guys, we'll see many examples of this also in the groups when I send you exercises to practice, because I think now we know each other now. Last week was just starters. Going forward now, there'll be exercises and more movement and activity in the groups. Alright, and the last one, quotation marks. I'm sure you guys know this one. You all know this one. These are for quotations and direct speech. Okay, and that's the end of our basic refresher course on how to answer language, questions, basically things that you may have forgotten, advertisements. Does anyone have any questions before we move on? Any questions? Thumbs up if you're still good. You're welcome to unmute yourself in between the lesson if you don't understand anything or something is tough. Otherwise, I'll assume that we're all good and we can continue with the past paper. Is everyone all good? Okay. Don't be afraid to speak, guys. Don't be afraid to speak. We're a community, we're a family. We're all here for the same thing, for the distinctions. Okay, guys, let's go to the past paper here. Let's go to the past paper here. Can I just get a thumbs up if you guys can see the past paper? If you can, then that's good. Then we can continue. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool, guys. Last week Sunday we did comprehension. I hope everyone is still good with that. We did summary. I hope everyone is still good with that. If you have questions, you can private message me or ask on the group. Today, now we are now going to tackle visual literacy. Okay, we did this. This was just comprehension and summary. Now we're on section C. So now we'll be going through advertisements, cartoons. Basically, that document was a refresher course. Now we'll be trying to explain what these teachers expect you to understand in these questions. All right. Okay, guys, let's operate. Let's operate. Okay. So here we have an advertisement. So it tells us question 3, analyzing advertising. Study the advertisement text D below and answer the set questions. Another thing, guys, just make sure you read your instructions carefully. You know, in final exams, these are big marks, guys. We can't afford to be making, silly mistakes or unnecessary errors. Just make sure you focus on reading the questions and instructions carefully. Okay, cool. So we have an advertisement here. We can see there's a picture of a woman and there's a lot of words that could be persuasive or could be leading into what this advert is about. So then we read this black box here. It says exclusive to the financial services industry. Interesting. Then we read here, it says in big letters, when planning your career, it pays to know yourself before others get to know you. Okay, then let me zoom in here so we can see the rest of this advertisement. I hope you guys can see if I do this last one here. Okay, then here we have something. I'll read it for you guys. It says, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, they even write it for us here for people who can't see that far. Then it says, this is basically what's being said. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses is vital to planning your next career move. As SA's only all-in-one online career management portal for the financial services industry, they even give you a website in bold. careersuite.co.za gives you exclusive access to competency assessment tests. This value-added service will measure your current competencies and help you to decide which of them you need to develop in order to realize your immediate and long-term career ambitions with detailed reports. Okay, so that doesn't seem so difficult to understand. It's when we start getting into the questions where now it starts to get tricky to get those full marks. So what I get from this advertisement, guys, is basically just a website that tests you on your abilities to make sure that you're ready for the career path you're choosing, or whether you're competent for the field that you want to be busy in or applying to. So the keywords here: strengths and weaknesses and competency assessment tests. That's what this website helps people do. And then obviously you have these words here in big, some are small. So yeah, that's how you analyze an advertisement. As you would have heard, as I analyzed it as well, I focus on the big, the small, the colors, the bold. You understand? This one is in a black box, it's isolated. These planning your career words are in a bigger font size, just taking note of the small things. The website here is in bold, those type of things. So I think we've analyzed that ad. We haven't really been asked anything else, so now we can go into the questions and see how we can try and get these 10 marks on offer here. So the first question says, explain how careersuite.co.za helps the reader plan his or her career. So the keyword here is explain, but basically how. So does anyone want to try and answer this one for us? Because I am going to need some engagement at some point, guys. Explain how careersuite.co.za helps the reader plan his or her career. And I'll just zoom out if anyone wants to give this a try. Remember, guys, there's no wrong or right answer. I can promise you, we all view these advertisements differently. Otherwise, if it's still too early, although I believe segulate manje, guys, segulate manje. You're in grade 12 now, so you have to operate at the highest level. Does anyone want to tell us how this website helps people plan their careers? Or is it a long story? If it's a long story, tell me, guys. We can operate anyway. Because what's one? The memo is here, so I can't really use it. As a tutor, I can only use it for reference. I'm basically in grade 12 with you guys, you know the vibes. Does anyone want to unmute themselves and try, or should I just give you guys the way I see it? The way probably the teachers will expect an answer. Okay, guys. So I guess not. This is a 2 mark question. So mark allocation basically is telling us that they don't expect a long paragraph. It's also a straightforward question. So you'll just be explaining how this website helps the reader plan his or her career. So the answers are most likely in the text that we've just read here. So let's just read it again. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses is vital to planning your next career move. Okay, that's an important sentence there. As SA's only all-in-one online career management portal for the financial services industry, careersuite.co.za gives you exclusive access to competency assessment tests. So I'm assuming that's one of the ways, or the way, that this website helps a reader plan his or her career. This value added service will measure your current competencies and help you to decide which of them you need to develop in order to realize your immediate and long term career ambitions with detailed reports. Speaking of ambitions, I saw in this ad here the word ambition. So, no, that really doesn't have any influence on our answer. So, guys, basically, it's right there in the text. So, your answer would basically be careersuite.co.za helps readers plan their career paths by giving them exclusive access to competency assessment tests. So yeah, guys, that's as basic as it gets. I think that's one of the basic questions you'll get in in the answer because you're explaining how. Okay, but now you need to read your question. Explain how, not explain like it sounds like they want you to go in depth. So is there anything we're missing here before we go forward? Knowing your strengths and weaknesses is vital to planning your next career move. So, guys, if you ever doubt your answer, just make sure you read the text again to see if you're missing anything. All in one career management portal for the financial service tree. Career suit that gives you exclusive access. So, I think one thing you can add in your answer here is this website also helps readers know their strengths and weaknesses. Because, I mean, when you take this competency test, assessment test, it tells you what you're good at and what you're not good at so that you can plan and basically fix your weaknesses and build on them. So that's another thing you can add to your answer. CareerSuite.co.za helps readers plan their career path by giving them access to competency assessment tests and helps the readers acknowledge or know their strengths and weaknesses in the process. So I think that's good enough to get the 2 marks. But if ever in doubt, just make sure you read the text again, analyze, just criticize your answer, make sure you can answer it properly.
So
Yep. Is that a question?
if if I elaborate on the competency tests
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying where they help with the planning of the careers, will I get 2 marks?
Yeah. So elaborate in what sense? Basically what it's about, what the assessment is about.
Yeah, saying like Careers Week gives them exclusive access to competency assessment tasks,
Mm-hmm.
and that these tasks help measure the current competence with, yeah, and help them
100%.
decide. Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
you get your marks. So in a sense of in a question or an answer like that, as long as you mention what it does, like how it helps them, and then elaborating perhaps correct, you get your mark because that's basically what I was also reading. Why I read this thing twice because I wanted to know also how does it help these people. So it helps them by also helping them know their strengths and weaknesses. So like you said, elaborating on what this assessment does or how it's conducted, that can also get you more marks. So yeah, that's good 100%. Any more question, guys, so we can go on to the next question? Okay, cool. 100%, guys. I love the questions. Okay, 3.2. Refer to the phrases essays only all in one online career management portal and exclusive access in the written text. Discuss how these phrases are intended to influence the reader. So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. This is an answer that you can create on your own. Influence is the main word here. And I think in this sentence alone, you can see that they are trying to persuade the reader that they are the only one available in the market to conduct these assessment types for people to plan their careers. So you can see here, you can place emphasis on these words that they use. You can even quote them, that they use all in one, which is a persuasive phrase to basically lure the reader in that they're the best one for the job, and exclusive access, which is basically just showing the reader that once you're in, there will be all the support that you need and everything along those lines. So just placing emphasis on these, and you can see it's a 2-mark question. So these phrases you can just elaborate on how they make how they make the reader feel valued and heard, and just supporting them in that sense. So this one I don't really have to elaborate, especially since it's a discuss question. So any answer that you give along those lines, focusing on phrases and words that influence the reader, can get you the 2 marks. Okay, I hope everyone is still good. So these first 2 questions on this advertisement, not too difficult, unless anyone has a question they want to ask, but should be attainable. It's only now when we come to 3.3, comment on the tone used in this advertisement. So they like these tone questions. They like asking what the tone is in this question. So let's just quickly go through this advertisement again and sort of get a feel for what this tone is. It optimistic? Is it negative? Is it positive? Anything along those lines. So is there anyone who just wants to read through this? Let's just spend some couple of 1 minute or 2 minutes just reading through this and maybe getting the tone of this advertisement to give an answer for that one. If anyone wants to give it a shot, just unmute yourself and go for it. I think I've also used keywords as well, like persuasive, luring the reader in, along those lines. So I'm sure you can come up with a tone for this advertisement. It's a 3-mark question as well, so if there's anyone who wants to try, you're more than welcome, guys. You're more than welcome. Anyone? No one? Tired? Sleeping? Are we all alive? Proof of life? Okay. Maybe you guys will come alive in the language questions. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. So the tone here, as we read here, those keywords, especially in the previous question where it just said how they intended to influence the reader, the tone here is pretty straightforward. They're very persuasive. It's a persuasive tone, they're trying to lure the reader in, as I've said before. Other synonyms I could use, convincing. I think it's a convincing tone, So remember, in these 3-mark questions in that previous document we just went now, this is a phrase that we went on last week Sunday in that document for answer and comprehension questions. Comment on, and it's a 3-mark question, guys. So to get your full 3 marks, we'll just refresh again. If you're gonna say the tone is, for example, persuasive, convincing, if you want to say negative, you have to be able to prove that from the text or the advertisement. When I say prove, I'm saying you'll say, for example, the tone is, let's choose convincing. The tone is convincing. Then you're going to have to prove it. So you can say the tone in this advertisement is convincing because the text uses the text uses convincing words or persuasive words such as all-in-one online career management portal and words like exclusive. So these words are the ones that prove what you said, that this advertisement is convincing. It reassures the reader that the tone here is positive, it's optimistic, and any doubts they have will be dealt with. You understand? So that's where the 3 marks come from. You can't just say the tone is convincing and then leave your answer like that. So we went through this last week Sunday. To get your full 3 marks, you have to give what you think the tone is and then elaborate on why you say that. Basically prove it. So that's how I would answer this question. Let's see what they answer on 3.3. It's question 5, 4, 3. Okay, what was that? 3.3, comment on the tone used in this advertisement. Let's see what they said. The tone is reassuring. So you see how many they give you here, guys. So really, even if you can't think of a word that you can use for the tone, whatever you think of should be able to lie in between these different words. Confident, like I even said, positive. What else did I say? Optimistic. So confident, encouraging, conversational, assertive, convincing, persuasive, reassuring. That's where you said. That's the first one. The tone is, that's your first answer. You choose any word here or whatever comes to your mind. Then the second step is to prove or basically discuss how does this tone achieve this. Then they say the tone reassures the reader that the uncertainties of finding a suitable career can be dealt with. You see, remember what I said. If you chose persuasive, the tone is persuasive because they use words such as exclusive, which basically reassure the reader that they will be taken care of, they will be the only one. You understand? Their needs will be met. So that's exactly how you get your 3 marks, guys. That's exactly how you get your 3 marks. You can't just say the tone is and then leave it at that. You need to prove and discuss and comment on it. So I think I've emphasized my point there so you guys can get these 3 marks should they come. Then they just end here by saying, you see, if you chose reassuring as your tone, here's a proof for how is it reassuring. If you chose conversational, here's the proof for how this tone is conversational. And obviously they can't come and give answers for each and every word that you said, but that's exactly how you get your 3 marks. I hope everyone is happy. Is everyone happy? Good. I think we can leave that answer sheet now. Now comes a question for your personal opinion. In your view, is the image
Oh,
effective?
sir, I have a question on this previous. Hello, sir.
How's it, Yaya? Go for it.
I have a question on the previous question, 3.3. So last week you told us to, number one, comment on the tone, number two, prove
Yes.
that support the tone, and number three, tie it up.
Yeah, tie it up.
So on the third, like how I wanna know, like how do we tie it up,
So tying up,
or
it's
like
not
maybe there's
really.
something that I missed.
No, 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 no. You didn't miss anything. It's good that you brought it up. So when I say tie it up, I'm just trying to make it look like your answer, you are confident in your answer. So you can say, tying it up, you can add a last sentence by saying, therefore, this is how, or this is what proves that the tone is persuasive in this advertisement. So it's just a final sentence that you can add to tie up, firstly, what you said the tone is, secondly, the proof that you have provided, and then tying it up is just a
Mm,
sentence that you can just make it look like you're confident in your answer. You are not just pulling words from the text and
okay.
hoping for 3 marks. So that's basically what I meant with tying up. But I'm glad you brought it up. So if you see here
Okay.
in
Thank you,
this
sir.
memo, yeah, if you see in this memo, they basically give you words that you can choose from, and then they go in depth on the proof here, whether it's conversational, whether it's reassuring. Let's check this conversational one. The conversational approach of the advertisement could be seen as more effective than a hard sell approach. This is their tying up sentence, comma, and this appeals to many readers. You see, that's how they tying it up. It's basically just showing the reader, I mean the
Okay.
teacher who's marking that you're confident in what you have just said here. You understand? Does that answer your question, or should I elaborate more?
No, it's okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good. I hope everyone understood what he asked there. Okay, then is there more questions or
So,
yes? Go for it.
may I ask,
Yes, go. Yes.
is there a technique for the language or that they use when they say the best in the country or exclusive access or essays best, essays only? Is there a
Mm-hmm.
technique or is there a name for that technique?
Yeah, so basically it's just there's no technique, but it's seen as persuasive language. So it's persuading. It makes the reader think that they're the only one. So persuasive, convincing, just making it seem that they're the only one. But there's no specific technique or statement that we can call that type of language. You understand? So
Yes, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, okay, cool. Okay, cool. I love the questions, guys. Keep the questions coming in so that we can just solve that. And then if we just quickly do the last question here, this is now a personal opinion question. So here I can't really say wrong or right answer, but we will still go through it. In your view, is the image effective in promoting the service offered? Substantiate your response. You understand? So I think now, guys, in the next exams, these 3 4 more questions, me, I just want to see 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4. Let's operate at the highest level, guys. Balana my notes. I've given you the juice now. What they expect, how they expect you to answer. So, in your view, is the image effective in promoting the service offered? Can you guys, yeah, can you guys just mute yourselves there? Who is it? Let's check who's talking there. Okay, it's like they muted now. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. So, in your view, it basically says yes or no. The image is ineffective or it's effective in promoting the service offered. Then you'll have to give proof on why you say that. So let's see. Image effective in promoting the service offered, substantiate your response. Then we look at the image. This is the only image we see here because the rest is just text. So this image has many words here: rewards, ambition, growth, my future, progress. There's many words here. So it's up to you whether you feel this is effective or ineffective. Personally, for me, and just because it's my answer doesn't mean it's correct, I would say no. In my view, this picture is ineffective. Why do I say this? Because there are many words that are unreadable on this woman's face that don't relate on what is being offered by this company or this website or service history. Like, if you see this sentence here, I'll have to then find a word. Let's just check. Job satisfaction, bigger, bigger, better, more. You can use this one. You can quote it. For example, bigger, better, more is a vague phrase that is used in this image. I mean, guys, you see, I'm just trying to prove more on my answer so that the teacher who's marking can see my viewpoint. And since it's a in your view question, she can't mark you wrong if you're actually giving her evidence and you're showing that you're confident in your answer. She can't really mark you wrong. So there are many answers that you can use. For those who think it's effective, you'll then go with these words aligning with what they're trying to prove. Understand? So first mark, do you agree or don't you agree? Second mark, evidence that prove that can back you up, and then tie it up. Just a simple sentence to show that you're confident in your answer. I'm so glad now that people are learning how to answer these 3 mark questions, because if you didn't know and you come out, for example, God forbid, 1 out of 3 here, 1 out of 3 here, that's 4 marks gone from a 10 mark question that is offered. 4 marks gone just because you didn't know the steps on how they want you to come and gain the full marks here. So I hope you guys are taking notes, guys. Balana my notes. Balana my notes. The next step is it's now 6:58. We're now going to go for cartoons and then we're going to go for language. So we're not far from finishing, guys. I'm going to say let's take a quick break before we come and attack this cartoon for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then tidy up our session for the last 40 minutes with language. Like I said, it's going to be impossible to teach everything in one lesson, but as we do past papers, you'll start to understand the different sections and terms and keywords that are used in languages. So before we quickly switch meetings now, is everyone fine with advertisements in this past paper and now to answer it? Can I just get a thumbs up? Any questions, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself. Anyone? Anyone? Thumbs up. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys are learning. Okay, cool guys. So for now I'm going to end the lesson. Can we all please come back here, let's say 5 past 6, 5 past 7, to continue the end of the lesson. I'll send the new link on the group because each session is 1 hour. But for now, grab some water and come join us for the next session at 5 past 7. Okay guys, let me send the new link now. Okay, so far so good. Just end it and then share new lesson. Okay, cool. Should have ended by now. Screen and then create a new link, new meeting, create a meeting for later, new meeting. It's my Wi-Fi. Just give it a moment, give it a moment. For those online guys, just as we're switching meetings here, I hope you're learning a lot. If you missed our previous lesson for session 1 where we covered comprehension and summaries, please make sure you just browse through the Dripanomics tutorials YouTube channel and just go through that before joining this one. But so far so good. I'll just send this to the WhatsApp group for those who are on our personalized groups. Okay, DXZ, and FDQ, BCD, send. Correct, correct. Okay, let me start it so long. Try now. And then quickly host tools and then make it an open link. What's going on? Make it an open link, open for everyone. View, I think it's open and admit all. Admit, and it's an open link so everyone can join. Excellent. We're starting in 5 minutes or 2 minutes, shall I say. Welcome guys, welcome guys. I hope you got your glass of water for the last session. I hope everyone is learning. Let's just do this and this. Just gonna give everyone 2-3 minutes. Then the others buses join while we are on the way. While we are on the way, guys. While we are operating, they'll join. You understand? Let me just do this. So now we're analyzing in cartoon. Shouldn't take too long. And then we can kill language, guys. Kill language. Let's operate, guys. English, it's not a difficult subject. I'm sure you guys can see now. Let me share my screen in the meantime. Share screen. Window. This one. Share. It's not sharing. Let me make sure my online YouTube buddies can see. Excellent. Okay, cool guys. Those in the meeting, thanks for joining. We're starting in a minute or two. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen with this cartoon? Question 4 here. Just a thumbs up so that we can continue in a minute or two. So far, so good, guys. Okay, cool. Can everyone see the screen? Can I just get a thumbs up? Sorry, I missed that thumbs up here. Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Okay, Noctula can see the screen now, so that's good news. I'm sure then everyone else can see the screen. Itumeleng, I see you raised your hand. Is there a question for you that you have for
No,
me?
no, no. I can see the screen. I
Okay,
can see the
cool.
screen.
Cool, guys. Cool, guys.
Yeah.
So now it's 5 past 7, 6 past 7. 1 minute. We start with a cartoon and how to analyze a cartoon. I'll give you a few tips. I'm sure you guys can notice a few things here. Cartoons, like I said, I can't give you a set guideline because they're all different. Sometimes they're talking about Zuma, sometimes they're talking about Ramaphosa, so people view it differently, you understand? So I can't, it's very tricky to give you a set guideline for that one. But I will give you some practice work for this week so that next week we can just go through the answers just to make sure that you guys are on track. So yeah, 20 seconds just so we can give people more time to join. Looks like everyone is joining now. We can continue with the cartoon then. Okay, cool guys. Let's continue. Okay. So this PDF I just got a WhatsApp guys. Don't be afraid to message me. This PDF that we went through here with all the different terms and stuff, I will be sharing it on the group. Perhaps that's a good feedback I should consider. Maybe I should share this on the group before our next lesson, just so that you guys have time to go through it. So you know at Dripanomics we're always looking to improve. So that means for next lesson I will be sending a document that will be going through and some exercises. So this one that we're using today, I will send it out after the lesson because I have to transfer it from my laptop here to my phone to the group. So apologies then, but then that means then from every session going forward I'll send it before the lesson so you guys also have time to prepare. Okay guys, so then let's start then. Cartoons. So cartoons, they mostly place emphasis, on font size, on whether it's in bold, on the size of the bubbles to show if they're shouting or they're whispering. Like I said, most exam papers these days are in black and white, so you can't really focus on color and stuff like that. So with that being said guys, in this cartoon we can see, if we just analyze it quickly, you have 4 different frames of the conversation this boy and this girl are having. Peanuts, it's in bold and it's in black. Then she says the girls won't play with me, and you can see it's in bold. They say I talk too loud. Do I talk too loud, Charlie Brown? And it's in bold again, so that can insinuate that she's shouting. Then the boldness changed. Now it's in normal font size. Wait a minute, stay right where you are. Okay, so that's the boy walking away. Can see now he's facing the other direction. She's probably asking herself what's going on. Then in the last frame, now he stands at a certain spot and says, now what were you saying? So that's basically this cartoon. I'm sure that's basically how you analyze this. The size of the font, the size of the bubbles, the facial expressions, all those things can help in answering cartoon questions. So here we only have like 3 or 4 cartoon questions. Then we'll be tackling language. So please guys, in between, don't be afraid to stop me if you have questions. Unmute yourself. Or if anyone views this cartoon differently, you're more than welcome to share. My answer is not the final answer. You understand? But that's just the tips I've learned on how to analyze cartoons. So the questions, let's start with the first one guys. 4.1, account for the use of different fonts in the cartoon. Account basically means comment on or discuss. You understand? So, is there anyone who, I mean, as we've analyzed it, I'm sure I've given the answer away or whatever. But does anyone want to try um, answer the first question? Why the different fonts are being used in this cartoon? You're more than welcome, guys. More than welcome to give it a shot. Otherwise, we'll continue. Sounds like it's been a long week for everyone.
Well,
Yeah, go for it.
I think I have an answer. Something
Yeah. Go for it.
I could say. I could say in frame one and two, it's in bold,
Yes,
but
correct.
the font is a bit darker. And in frame three and four, it's in bold, but a bit lighter
A
than
bit
one and
lighter.
two.
Correct. That is the
Yes.
differences. So now that you have said that, so remember what I said now. Account for basically means discuss or comment on.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. What's wrong?
I would just like to ask if, like for 4.1,
Yes.
is it possible if I could say that the bold font emphasizes that the girl is screaming,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then the
Correct.
light font is that he's actually just speaking normal?
100%. So that's why 100%. That's what exactly what we're
Mm.
looking for. I'm sure. So that previous guy who was answering. I'm sure that's what we were gonna get to. Am I correct? Uh,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool. So that means we're all on the right track. You see now, we're moving somewhere. So that's exactly what they want you to notice in this question. One is in bold, which can insinuate that she's screaming or shouting or raising her voice. And then the font that is in a lighter or is not in bold can now insinuate that the boy or whoever is talking in a normal tone. I just want to double check here. Since we are so fixated on our answer, I just want to double check that we're on the correct track without seeing these other answers. Correct, guys. Yeah, 100%. You guys nailed that one. As you can see what they expect in the memo here. The bold print shows that the girl is shouting loudly, whereas Charlie Brown, the boy, speaks in a normal tone, and that is shown by the plain font. So 100%, guys. You guys nailed that one. That's a proper way to start the cartoon. So just make sure when you're in an exam, guys, just make sure you go through the cartoon frame for frame, bar for bar, making sure that you see, like, it's basically spot the difference. What do you see in this frame that you don't see in that frame, if I can put it like that? So cool, guys. I hope everyone is happy there. And if we go to the next question, 4.2, it says now, refer to the question mark in frame 3. So if we look at this question mark here in frame 3, what does it indicate about the effect of the boy's words on the girl? So, does anybody want to answer that? Or actually, just think about your answer, guys, and then I'll be back in a minute. Just gonna fetch my charger. It's now 7:12. I'll be back at like 7:13, 7:14. Then we can look at that answer. I don't want my lesson to die in between, so yeah, guys, just think about that answer. Here's the cartoon. What do you guys see there? I'll be right back so I can put my laptop in the charger. Okay, I'm back, guys. 7:14 as promised. Does anyone have an answer for us on this one for 4.2? Does anyone have an answer for us, or should we go through it?
So I would like to try.
Okay, more than welcome. Go for it.
um, I think the question mark indicates the girl's confusion because the girl was asking, "Who's this?" Yeah, the guy, the
Yeah,
boy, a question, and then he's telling the girl to stay where she is, and he's just walking away without answering a question. So I think she's just confused. Hooray, what's going on? Why is he walking away? Why is he not answering my question?
100%. That is correct. So it does insinuate some confusion, especially when
Yeah.
the. Or does anyone else want to try? Yes, go for it, guys.
So what if I said his words caused her to pause and think, which suggests that his comment his comment made an emotional impact. Something like that.
100%, yeah. Because pause and think basically means confusion. So the teacher won't mark you wrong there. So any way in which you feel you're answering the question, that's correct. So because I mean your both your answers are correct because what he says in this text here is wait a minute, stay right where you are. And now he's facing the other direction. She now sits there with a question mark, which can then insinuate that there's some confusion or she doesn't know where is this boy going. You can see that. You guys can see that you can come up with many other answers that are along those lines in order to, get the 2 marks. So this is not really a 3 or 4 mark question. It's just for you. They want to see if you understand the use of question marks and the use of bold font and so on and so on. So yeah, those two answers are perfect, guys. I don't think I need to go to the memo for that one. It does cause confusion. Is everyone happy? Thumbs up if you understand or you have any other questions. Okay, cool. I assume everyone is happy. And then the next question, the interesting ones, the 4 mark ones. And I'm actually interested. I'm sure that's where many people, well, me in the past as well, lost marks. It's actually the 3 4 mark questions because they actually expect a lot. So let's read the next question. 4.3. Discuss the impact of the visual elements in the last frame. That's an interesting question. I'm gonna give you guys some time to think on that. Discuss the impact. I think the key word here is discuss and impact of the visual elements in the last frame. So I'll give you guys some time to discuss that. I actually want to see what you guys think with this one. Then I'll obviously come and give in my input. Visual elements. If you don't understand, then I'll elaborate a bit on that. But I'll just give you guys some time to think about this one. So yeah, if anyone wants to try or give it a shot, it is a tricky one because I'm sure they are expecting you to understand what visual elements are. But if you look in the last frame, if I was just to give you a clue, how, okay, how can I give you this clue? How can you see that now they are far away from each other now compared to the past 3 frames where they were close together and she was speaking loudly? How would you sort of answer that in a question? I think if I were to give you a clue, I'd word it like that. But basically, the visual elements that shows the difference in the last frame compared to the other frames. Anybody want to give it a shot? Just put this in the
So,
comments.
so I'm talking about the body language, ne?
Mm-hmm.
So the girl is walking away with her back turned, suggesting that she is frustrated,
Yes.
ne?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then her posture shows she's no longer interested in continuing the conversation. Cause yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's along the right lines. That's along the right lines because now you have a point in what you're saying. Because if you look at that last frame, the boy is also trying to prove a point. So that obviously would frustrate the girl. So body language is an important factor in that frame. So yeah, does anybody want to add any other visual things that they see in the last frame that can answer question 4.3? Otherwise,
So would
um,
it be wrong to say like the boy? Okay, never mind.
no, go for it. Remember, there's no wrong or right answers, guys. So I think that's a good thing in these tutoring sessions. For example, if you're in a class with your English teacher, what they will be giving you most of the time is answers from the memo. You understand? So don't be afraid to try, guys. So you wouldn't be wrong in anything. Does anybody want to try and then I can just show you how you answer these ones
So,
of visual elements?
so,
Yes,
so
guys.
So, oh, that's fine.
I
Tara.
wanted to say the distance between the boy and the girl
Mm-hmm.
clearly emphasizes boy's answer, meaning that she is loud,
You
clearly
see?
answering her question.
You see, guys, power to the people. Power to the people. Can I just take this moment to say, Nyabonga? You understand? Just want to say thank you because the people who have just tried giving their answers now, if you add your answers together, would you be happy in me telling you that those two answers together, the one where the lady, I think she said the back is away from the reader or something along those lines, so it shows that she's frustrated, and then the previous answer now where you said there's distance in between these people, so that proves that the boy is showing her that she is indeed loud. Adding those two answers, would you be happy if I told you that you get the 3 marks? Because those are all visual elements. So, guys, power to the nation. I'm glad that you guys are participating. So, how would I answer this question? You guys are correct in what you're saying. Then we'll go to the memo right here. How would I answer this question? So, if you look here, I don't know where my annotate tools are now. You see, these things are funny. One moment they're here in one meeting, then in another subject they're not here. Hi, but it's fine. I'll use my mouse here and highlight like this or something. So guys, the first thing we notice in this frame, in this past few frames, we could see in frame 1, we could see her face, we could see her facial expressions. In frame 2, we could see her, we could see she's shouting. In frame 3, we can see her confusion. Now, all of a sudden, in frame 4, we can't see her face. We see her back is towards us. So that shows, and we don't see a bubble over her head. So what does that show? The question asks, discuss the impact of the visual elements in the last frame. You could say anything along the lines of, I think. The girl's back is towards the reader or the viewer, and there's no speech bubble over her head. So this can show that perhaps she's frustrated, like the other lady said on the call, or perhaps that she's been proven wrong, or she's what word can I use? Or I'm looking for a word. Yeah, let's just say she's been proven wrong and she doesn't know what to say. Okay, so that's a visual element in how she's standing, her posture, body language. 100%, guys. We're gonna get these distinctions, I'm telling you. And then you can also elaborate on the boy. The boy has now moved further away from her. She is still speaking in a normal tone, and now he's asking her, now what were you saying? Which is basically the boy proving to her that she is indeed loud. And his facial expression is short of, how do I say it? I'm not sure. There's a word I'm looking for with his facial expression, but it's not confused. It's like, I told you so. You understand? It's a sort of an I told you so facial expression, but I'm sure I'll find the word. Now, if I'll remember, I'll give it to you guys. In an exam, it also happens, guys. You forget some words. Just write down your thoughts, and then if you can't answer the question, just come back to it. That's another tip. So, this distance in between them, the normal tone, her body language facing the viewer's back, the facial expression of the boy, just shows us the visual elements that the lady has been proven wrong and the boy has been proven right. So that's basically what you guys have said, and I'm just adding on to the correct answers that you guys have given, and I'm sure you guys are happy now. Are there any questions before we go to the memo, just to confirm what we have said? Because I'm trying to build your guys' confidence as well, so that when you're in an exam and we have done so many past papers, you don't doubt your answers. Is there any questions before we go to the memo? Or is everyone good? Can I get a thumbs up? Because you guys nailed that answer as well. You've actually nailed the cartoon questions. I can't lie. Good guys, good guys, good, good, good. Okay, let's check the memo here. Let's tidy up this cartoons, then we can check the language. Was that 4.3? So check here. The the boy affirms the truth of a statement in frame 2 by moving away, like somebody said, distance, moving away from her, basically proving the boy right. It's all that we've said, guys. Her back is to the reader and we cannot see her face. You see? The other one said she's frustrated or whatever. This indicates that she has been silenced. You can say she has been. Oh, yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Silenced. Like she's shocked, that she was actually loud. Frustrated. Any words that you guys can use to prove why her back is against the reader or facing the reader. And then the distance, like we've said, between the characters is emphasized by their relative sizes. So now in this frame, they're no longer close to each other. You understand? And then here the teachers just want to see link to visual elements must be explicit. So basically what they're saying there, I told you how to get these 3 marks. If you're gonna say something, just point to it. You understand? The distance in between the boys not the same as the previous frames. As I was telling you, we could see her in every frame. Now we don't see her anymore. So I'm really, really proud of you guys. You nailed that question. That's 3 marks in the bag. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to the last question? Question 4.4. It's another 3 mark question, and then we can come see some language questions here. Is everyone good? Okay, I think everyone is good. Thumbs up, everyone is good. Okay, let's do the last question, guys. 4.4. I think we're doing well for time. We're going step by step. 4.4. Discuss any 2 techniques used by the cartoonist to create humor. So I'm assuming we're on a new cartoon now. Let's quickly go through it. Text F. It's another cartoon. Hey, what's up, mama? It's a person at a robot. What's up? Okay, cool. Next, I'll tell you what's up. Petrol's up, electricity's up, food's up. You see why I can't really give you set techniques on how to answer cartoons, because they're different every time. It's just about how you analyze how it relates to you and stuff. Humor, this guy looks angry. You see his glasses are emphasized, they're much bigger now. There's sweat coming from his face. And this boy's eye is now shocked. His eyes are much wider and they're much open. He says, my blood pressure's up. Then he says, yo, mama. Then the last frame says, I was only saying hello. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you're not really trying to get people angry. You're just trying to have a conversation and then they just snap at you. So the question is asking us, discuss any 2 techniques used by the cartoonist to create humor. So I mean, guys, I think we've done this many times. If you're gonna say something, prove it by relating to the cartoon. Like I said, guys, from here on, guys, you've met Dripanomics tutorials now. As Galila. From now on, I want to see 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3. If it's a 4 mark question, 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4. Balana knows, guys. We are not here to play. It's Tata Zonke match. So now it says discuss any 2 techniques used by the cartoonist. So I'm not gonna go to the memo for this one. If you're gonna say the wordplay on WhatsApp and WhatsApp creates humor, you must elaborate a bit why. So you can, how would you elaborate? I'm sure people will ask me. You can say WhatsApp, the boy using WhatsApp instead of WhatsApp creates humor. Why? Because it's a slang term. It's not the correct way to say WhatsApp. So naturally, it's gonna become funny. It's slang. It's not the correct way, and you can see the difference. So you can write it in your answer. WhatsApp is not the correct term for WhatsApp. It's a slang term. You understand? What else can we find? I'll tell you what's up. Petrol's up, electricity's up, food's up. And then the boy, you can see these lines here. There's lines of sweat coming out from the characters' faces. So you can call it sweat or whatever. That can show that, hey man, is this actually a mama or what? Okay, let's actually refer to as a mama. I'm sorry guys, this guy looks like a man, but Let's refer to him or her as a mama. Uh, all inclusive, guys. Don't bash me. Those on YouTube, all inclusive. Pink, green, red, blue, yellow, all the colors. Rainbow Nation, we love you all. But back to what I was saying. So these sweat lines coming from the face of the woman shows that she's agitated or angry, which creates humor because that is not reciprocated by the boy. Can you see that in my answers I always elaborate? I don't just say something and then I leave it at that. So in each frame, I'm sure you can find um, a technique or a certain word or a phrase that is used to create humor. Because now in the third frame, he says, yo, mama. The word yo again is a slang term and can indicate that the boy is shocked at the woman's response. You understand? And I think, I don't know who's going to ask me this or whatever, but I think if you're going to also discuss the two techniques, you can just reference the frame, just briefly. In frame one, blah blah blah, you answer. Or in frame three, the boy says blah blah blah, you answer. Just so that maybe whoever doesn't hasn't seen the cartoon can know which frame you're taking the technique from. Does everybody understand? Can I get a thumbs up as we tidy up cartoons and move on to language for the last 30 minutes? Any questions, guys? Are you all good? Are you all good on how to structure
So I have a question.
Yep, go for it.
So like I don't really understand on how to answer like these questions that involve humor. So
Mm-hmm.
like do you have so do you get a mark for saying like maybe in frame one this and that happens and then you get another mark for explaining on what's happening on the frame or
No, since it's a 3 mark question and they only asked for two techniques, I think where you'll get your marks is for anything that you find in any of the four frames as humors. You name two of those techniques, and then if it's either you elaborate on both of them or on one of them on how it creates that humor. That's how you get your 3 marks. Because if it was gonna be for each and every frame, I'm sure it would have been more than 4 marks or so. So I think to answer your question properly, then now we'll be forced to look at the memo because the way I teach you guys is more on how it relates to everybody. So now to answer you, and I'm actually taking notes of that so that we can practice these things more, guys. It's a good question you asked there. Let's check 4.4. They say, let's see how they gave the marks. The word play on WhatsApp creates humor. The word play. So like I said, it's a slang term. You could have got marks for that. Then it says movement lines and sweat droplets indicate mama's agitation in reaction to the boy's words. Remember what I said. The boy doesn't respond in the same way. Let's look here quickly. Her sweat, it shows that she's angry, but the boy's eyes open up and it shows that he's not responding to the way she's angry. You understand? So to answer your question, it looks like here that they give three different points from the four frames. So I think that can help. Anticlimax occurs in the last frame when the intended meaning is explained. And this sentence already explains what an anticlimax is. But I'm not sure they were looking for an anticlimax. But you could have just said maybe that the joke was ruined when the intended meaning of the thing was explained. So it looks like in this type of questions then, but they said two techniques. So you see they're contradicting themselves. So I think if you just gave two techniques and elaborated, you would have got your marks. I don't think it's necessarily that you have to give a technique in each frame. Does that answer your question or should I explain more?
yes, I do understand now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, cool.
So can
100%.
I ask a question?
Yep, go for it.
If I comment on the satire used in this cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
so for example, I say, commenting on the economic growth
Mm-hmm.
or basic economic stuff like petrol is up,
Yes.
electricity is up,
Yes.
food is up, and putting that in a cartoon creates
Mm-hmm.
humor. Can I
Yes.
comment on that and get marks?
Yes. Yes, because you just called it satire and it's a reference to the country's economy, which does create humor. So 100% you would get that mark because that is one of the
Okay, thank you.
technique that is used in this cartoon. Okay, is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, cool, guys. I think we've tidied up cartoons now. But I think from now on I'll
So
just
I
give.
have a question.
Yep, go for it.
So, like, sir, if they were to ask this question, you have like to specify on each thingy the frames. You don't have to state one frame.
Yeah, you can literally go through the frames. When I say elaborate, I don't mean like 5 sentences. It's just a brief proof of evidence or where you'd find it in the frame. So like the question you're asking, you don't really need to go and answer each technique in frame and elaborate on it. It's just that if you're gonna answer something, maybe they ask for two techniques, you're maybe gonna answer the two techniques and then maybe just give one more sentence on how it's seen in the two frames. Am I making sense?
Yeah, he making sense. Thank you.
Okay, cool guys. Yeah guys, just keep the questions
Sir,
So,
coming.
can you go back to the memo for like a minute? I want to
Okay,
see something,
no
if you don't
problem.
mind.
No problem.
so can I be asking another question?
Yeah, yeah, go for it guys, go for it.
I heard you commenting on the big eyes used, which is caricature. So does that
Mm-hmm.
create humor?
Uh, Not necessarily. You'll have to link it in the reaction towards what the lady's saying. So that in what's happening will create humor, not just his eyes on his own per se. So I hope I'm making sense. So you could link
Okay.
that term to to that's his reaction to what the lady's saying. That will create humor because guys, he's not matching the energy. I'll use the language that you guys. He's not matching the energy, so that would create humor in that sense. Am I making sense there?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so it's just the linking. They want to see if you can link. And I've seen also some universities, they tend to just give pointers on how metrics can just answer final exam questions better. Okay, that lady who said we must go to the memo, is there anything you want to point out or you just wanted to double check?
Oh, I just wanted to double check. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
cool. Are you happy now? Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, guys. I hope you guys are happy with cartoons now, but we'll practice it a bit more. Like I said, guys, it's only April. Final exams start in end of October, so we have a couple of months to practice properly. So I'll just keep sending some practice questions and this document that we use at the beginning of the lesson in the group. Okay, cool. We've answered that. Segulate munch, guys. So we're gonna do language now. We're gonna do language. I think we might not get a chance to go through all the language, but let's read first and give a few minutes to read through this text, read the instructions. If there's anything you guys note that is wrong or right, just keep note of it. Then we'll go through the questions and see which ones we can tackle. Otherwise, if we can't manage to get through everything, I'll send this exam paper in the group. And then from next week, we'll be doing a different exam paper and specific exercises now where people really struggle. So these past two lessons for English were just to, you know, give you guys a brief understanding. Then from next week, the group will now be open, for specific questions. Maybe you guys have speeches or anything in Afrikaans as well. And then paper two as well. I get a lot of questions about paper two. Then we can start tackling those because people have different poems, different novels, and so on. So we'll see how we can work around that. But for now, guys, it's now 7:38. At 7:40, 7:41, we have 3-4 minutes. Let's just read through this and see what we see. Question 5. Using language correctly, read text G, which contains some deliberate errors, and answer the set questions. So let's just read through this text quickly. It's not a comprehension where you follow the steps. You can read it once or skim it and then answer the question. So approaching this one is a bit different. So yeah, guys, 2-3 minutes. Let's see what we see here and try answer some questions. Okay, let me get my paper. Let me zoom in because some of you guys are using phones. So let me accommodate you guys as well. See this quickly. Yeah, this one gets everything inside. Let me see if I can zoom one more time. Okay, cool. Perfect. Yeah, let's just read through this text 2-3 minutes and start answering the questions. And yeah, guys, if you have a question or a word that you don't understand after you're done reading, just shout. I'll try my best to assist. You know.
So
Yes.
I have a question. What's the word? What's this word? MC. What is it?
EC. Which line is that in?
Line 3. The first word in line 3.
Okay, the raffle to MC. MC. Okay, an MC is basically these people that you find at events and gigs. They're basically the ones that are in charge of the program. So they direct the program. For example, at a wedding, you'll have an MC who will welcome all the speakers to give speeches and stuff. You know, you won't just walk on the stage. These are the people that make sure everything is in order. So, does that
Okay,
answer your
thank
question?
you. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, cool. MC. I didn't even know it was spelled like that. So that's good. It's good.
I will say, isn't like an MC, an M, and a C.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. So we're learning something. We'll see. Maybe they made that on purpose. We'll see. But I also knew it as MC. The just two letters. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they have questions for us on MC. If not, that means
So,
that's the way it's spelled. Yes.
what's the word in the fourth word in paragraph 3?
Paragraph three, fourth word. Which one? Is it mahogany?
Paragraph 3. Isn't it
Paragraph 3, okay,
paragraph
paragraph
3?
3, okay, so the third word, there was a
Fourth.
burlesque. Burlesque, so you're asking what burlesque means.
Yes.
Okay, let me read the sentence. There was a burlesque dancer, complete with, you see now, with jaunty angled hat, a rhythmic gymnast with a spangly costume, and a piano solo. So it looks like they're using big words, but if I use burlesque dancer, in fact, let me not give you guys the wrong answer. Let me just search it for you here. But now
Sir, I can't see your screen.
you can't see my screen. Did did
Yeah.
you did you just join now, or you've been joining for long and you can't see the screen?
It's for long, it's just switch off. Nje.
Okay, that means then let me let me stop sharing and share again. Then we can answer the question. Okay, for that lady who asked what is burlesque, burlesque basically means it's an absurd dancer. It's like a flashy dancer. So how do I say it? Like they're extraordinary. Yeah, it's an extraordinary dancer. Like not the normal one. You know. Yeah. Does that explain your or does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So it's just exaggerated. Then I'm learning today. Past papers will show you things. Burlesque. Okay, let me share again. Then we can try tackle some questions. Then I think we can tidy up today's lesson, guys. It's been a good lesson. Let me just share my screen again. Hopefully she can see. And if the rest of you guys can see, just give thumbs up. Just unmute yourself if you can see. If she can see, I hope you can see now.
I can see, thank you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, we've went through this text now. I think now we can try and tackle some questions. It's just language now. So like I said, I can't teach you every single thing from that document. We will have to teach ourselves by practicing past papers deliberately. And obviously in every English session, we're not gonna do comprehension, guys. That's why I'm gonna post a poll in the group after the lesson, what you struggle with the most, then we can try and focus on that. Maybe we can do comprehension once in a while just to refresh. But these are the ones where the marks people tend to lose them easily. So yeah, let's focus on this. Okay, we have 9 questions here. Let's see how far we can get, because this whole language is important. So here I can't pick and choose. So let's see. Let's start with the first question. Identify and correct the grammatical error in the subheading, and evening at just doing homework. Identify and correct. You see now, it's a 1 mark question, guys, but they're actually asking you two things. So you can't just correct it. You understand? So let's check what grammatical error do we see in a subheading. So this is the heading, high school idols, and then the subheading is an evening at the talent show proves there's more to performing well at school than you just doing homework. I think I see it already. But the way we speak nowadays, as the two Ks, Balanama notes, let's see if anyone wants to try and see what the grammatical error in the subheading is. Does anyone want to try? Does anyone want to try? Maybe they see something wrong there.
Isn't it the well? Performing well. Oh no, it's I know, never mind.
Yeah, no, the well
Right.
is fine. Let me give you guys a clue. There's a word missing here. I think.
The proves that there's more
Proves
to
there is.
At a school. Yo,
At the school is close, not correct, but it's close. So I'll give you another clue. It's
Proves
it's in the
that
last it's in the last sentence. So it's nothing at the top.
performing well at
So it's in the last
the school.
sentence. Well at school than you just doing homework. There's a word missing there. Let's give you guys a couple of
please
choices.
mute guys.
Yeah, please mute guys.
So is it your?
100%. Your
Yeah, I
It's
was
not
about to
the
say.
100%. It's your is missing. So they say an evening at the talent show proves there's more to performing well at school than you. So they deliberately say you just doing homework. Whose homework? You understand? Is it your friend's homework or is it your homework? So they forgot to include the word your. And I feel like that's not a fair question on some students because if you're gonna ask a question like that, at least make it obvious that there's a word missing. But yes, 100% the yours missing because whose homework are we referencing to? You understand? Perhaps if then you can say I'm contradicting myself and say, okay, an evening at the talent show, we can say whose talent show, but the main thing, the grammatical error here, you can't speak English and say at school than you just doing homework. The proper correct English is your. There's a your missing here. So, eh, but tutoring as well. You need to double check. But I think it's your. I mean, I wouldn't have been a tutor if I couldn't trust my words. So, yes. Question
okay,
5.1.
so we hear you.
Yes, is that a question? Or was that just making sure you got the answer? So you can see here, guys. Identify, you will say you, but they forgot to put your. So you can say they forgot to put your before homework, and then you can say omission of you. So they didn't put the last one here in between doing your homework. Whose homework are we doing?
So I have so I
Yes,
have a question.
go for it.
Would they penalize you if you don't like identify the word, you just give the answer? Would they penalize you?
If you want my honest opinion, I don't think they can. Because we're in grade 12, we
Okay.
can't be doing half marks. You answering the question is you identifying in a way. So I don't think they'll penalize you, but if you have time and let's say you finished your exam with like 5 minutes left, just go through making sure that you have like you have understood every instruction. But personally, I don't think they will because it's just 1 mark. Why should they give you a half mark? So personally, I don't think they'll give you they'll penalize you. But if it's a 2 mark question, they will because then they want you to see that you must identify. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. So thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool, guys. Yeah, that was the incorrect error there. Next question. Correct the Concord error in paragraph 1. Before we even do that, I'm sure, does anyone want to tell us what a Concord error is? Or try? Because I mean, you
Isn't
It's
it
something that has been spelled incorrectly.
close, close, not
Can I
not
try?
spelled. Yeah, try, guys. Don't worry.
can I
Close.
When they say when the subject matches
and
with the verb,
When the subject
They
and the object doesn't match. Something like that.
Yeah, you guys, I think you guys have the right answer there. So it's basically when a verb in a sentence doesn't match the number or the number of what is used in a subject. So I'm sure you'll be able to find it in paragraph one and you'll understand what I'm trying to say here. So it's when a verb and the subject they don't match in terms of plural or single the way it's being answered. That is what's defined as a concord error. So whilst you guys are just finding it for me here, I heard someone say they want to ask a question in the meantime. You can go ahead and ask.
It's okay, sir.
Oh, you're good now. Okay, cool. Don't worry, guys. I'm away. If you have a question, I won't miss it. But for now, does anyone want to try and find us the concord error in
So
paragraph?
can I try?
Yeah, go for it and try.
Is it behind them every now and again were ripples of movement, not was but were.
100%. Yep, I agree because I read it now. So it's not was ripples of movements. That doesn't sound right. I'm sure you guys can see that as well. Let's read that sentence. Behind them, every now and again, was ripples of movement. So when you read the full sentence, you can see that the concord error is was and it should be turned to were. So I'm assuming someone will ask me a question, how do I answer this? You would say you won't even have to write the sentence here. In language, it's very straightforward. You don't have to write full sentences. You just write was, and then you put a hyphen or a dash and write the were and underline were, which shows that you understand the difference between the two. So was is not supposed to be there. Were is the correct answer in that sentence. And perhaps if you just want to make sure that you get the mark, you can even write the full sentence, cancel out was, and then put were under or on top just to show the teacher that you understand the difference. So there's many ways in which to answer this. But either or, if you can see the difference, you get your 1 mark. Is everyone happy? Any questions? That was the concord error. You can see ripples of movement doesn't really match with was. It matches the best with were. That's the concord error there. But with practice, with time, kanako, you guys will get it. Is everyone good? Thumbs up. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Thumbs up. Any questions? Unmute yourself. More than welcome. But I love the engagement. Okay. 5.3. And unfortunately, in this paragraph, there's no other concord error. So if they gave you more than one, they would have said correct the concord errors or correct one of the concord errors in paragraph one. So just so that you guys don't get confused, they won't ask you one if there's more than one. They'll specify if there is more than one. So don't doubt yourself in that regard. Okay, 5.3. Give a more formal equivalent of MC, line 3. Okay, formal equivalent, I think they're just trying to ask for a synonym. They should have just said synonym. But if you see this in your exam in November, October, and they say formal equivalent, please take notes. It's basically just synonym. So what is a synonym of an MC? I think I gave the answer away when someone asked me, isn't it MC or what is an MC? Any synonyms for MC, guys?
Sir,
Yes, go for it.
can I say director?
Yeah, director is one of them. I'm sure there are more than 100%. Anyone who wants to give us more? Just in case we see this in an exam again somewhere this year, you can try remember others.
Host. Can I say host?
Host, 100% host works. Host, yeah, host is an MC. Yeah, it's the host of the event. Yeah, host. I would say program director or like you said, director, host. There are many
Or
others.
presenter? So
Presenter, you see, 100%. Many others. They're the ones in charge of the program. So there are many there. Let's see how many they gave us here without seeing other answers. And you can see that previous question, were ripples of movement, is the correct one, was. 5.3, many suitable synonyms, master, mistress of ceremonies. Hey, if you guess mistress of ceremonies, are you a different breed? Program director, direct on its own works, host, presenter. You see, there's a lot. They can't really mark you wrong as long as it makes sense. Okay, that was a simple one. But remember, guys, formal equivalent just basically means synonym. Don't shake. Don't shake, guys. Alright, 5.4. Is everyone good there? I'm sure everyone is good there. If you have any other synonyms, you can just give. But now we're moving on. 5.4. Around, so they quote something from this text. Around the hole, comma, mahogany boards celebrating gilt-leafed achievements in academic and sporting pursuits. Lines 3 to 5. Then it says, rewrite the above so that it is a grammatically correct sentence. So, what do you guys see in that sentence? Even if you just read it to yourself, what doesn't make sense in that regard? Around the whole, mahogany boards celebrating gilt-leafed achievements in academic and sporting pursuits. Sounds like a long sentence to me, but there's something grammatically incorrect in that sentence. So how would you guys write it? Does anyone want to try for us?
So
Sir,
isn't
my oh,
And yeah, you guys can go one by one. It's okay.
sir, there's supposed to be a full stop by the end of the sentence, not a apostrophe.
Okay. I didn't see that. 100%. That's a proper one. And in this answer, I can even say, I'm sure, but I'll double check in the memo. I'm sure there's more than one grammatically incorrect things here. So how would you guys?
so then
Yeah. So a full stop is what we'll add first of all. Correct.
so the comma. I'm not sure though.
Mm-hmm. The
Around
comma
the whole.
around the hole. No, the comma seems correct because it says around the
Okay.
hole. Then it states what you will find around the hole. So the comma is technically in a correct space.
Sir,
Okay.
Yes.
can I say around the whole mahogany board celebrate guilt-leafed achievements in academic and sporting pursuits?
So okay,
Instead of
that's
celebrating, I say celebrate.
celebrate. Yeah, 100% or celebrated. That is an issue. The celebrating doesn't sound right. So I would take
Yeah.
celebrated, but I'm sure you get a mark for celebrate as well. 100%. Yeah, and if you guys are good with language, yeah? Anyone wants to add?
So
Mm-hmm.
can I say Horodoan supposed to add the apostrophe at the end?
Yeah.
Because isn't it when you add after a word that has S, it means like it's how to explain it. Like
Yeah, it should be a full stop. I hear what you're trying to say instead of an
yeah, it means
apostrophe.
that yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They weren't supposed to
But
add it at all because it changes like the manner of the sentence.
Exactly
Because
Sir,
when you
but
100%.
add
aren't
it,
they just quoting the sentence?
they are, and there
They
is a full
are.
stop after lines 3,5.
Yeah,
That's
in
the
the paragraph there
difference.
is. It's just that they're
Fair.
quoting the sentence from the paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just so that we don't forget, there should be a full stop. So that's the first 100%, guys. They're just quoting and then
So there is a full
celebrated.
stop.
Yeah. And then
There is.
celebrated. Yeah, there is. Let's just check here. Lines 3 to 5. Sorry, let me go up a bit. There it is. The high school talent show was about to begin. Around the whole, mahogany boards celebrating gilt-leafed achievements in academic and sporting pursuits. But I'm glad you guys can notice the small differences, so it should be a full stop. 100%. The one with celebrated instead of celebrating is also correct. But I would also add, remember, guys, in this type of question, you are also allowed to change the structure of the sentence to make it correct. So around the whole mahogany boards, I would have said around the whole there were mahogany boards celebrating guild-leafed achievements. They were. I'm adding they were. Because just going from around the whole comma, mahogany boards, that's why that other lady had to change celebrating. So if you didn't want to change celebrating, you are allowed to add other nouns or words that make the sentence grammatically correct. But so far, that's what I see. That's all I see in terms of incorrect grammar in this sentence. There is a full stop, there is a correct comma. Otherwise, I wouldn't see anything else to add. So I think let's.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
If you said monogamy boards,
Mm-hmm.
please visit
Sorry, let me go up.
monogamy boards around the school.
Mm-hmm.
are used, or can you are used is used
Mm-hmm.
to celebrate guilt-lived achievements in academic and sporting pursuits. Would that be correct?
Uh, I like the way you changed it, but that wouldn't be correct, and I'll tell you why. Is because the beginning of the sentence is correct. So you are sort of changing the beginning of the sentence. Is you changing something that's already right. So they will mark you incorrect on that. But if you were to change everything, let me highlight it here. Around the whole, this with its comma is correct. So you changing this will not get you the mark. But changing anything after here, because I agree with you guys, it doesn't make sense. Others are changing celebrating, others are changing, I'm changing they were. You, the way you decide to change this to make it grammatically correct with you will be correct. But changing it from the start, I wouldn't advise that. So I'd rather say change it from where the errors start. Am I making sense on that one?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, 100%. So, guys, what I was about to say here is I think we have established what is incorrect and I think we have wrote it. So, I think now we're on 5.4. Let's check the memo for this one and then let's do these last two, 5.5 and 5.6. And I'll give you the answers for this one because I mean, in my document, we know what is the function of a hyphen. We can go through that. And then in 5.6, I didn't write italics, but I'll give you the use of italics. I mean, it's also straightforward. I'm sure you guys will be able to do this. So just 5 more minutes, guys, then we can end the meeting, and then the last ones you can try on your own, and I will send the memo for that in our English group. But so far, so good, guys. Let's check 5.4 without seeing the others. Award full marks. I think it stops there. Okay, 5.4 it says around the hole there were. Okay, so that's me adding there were mahogany boards and finishing the sentence. Or, like I said, there's more than one answer. The other lady found for us around the hole mahogany boards were celebrated guilt lift. So celebrating didn't sound correct. And obviously the full stop, even though you saw it, but I'm glad you guys were aware to see that perhaps this should have ended in a full stop. So this just means that there are more answers than one when you have to fix a sentence that is grammatically incorrect. Okay, cool. I hope everyone is fine. Now, 5.5. What is the function of the hyphen? To first understand that, let's quickly come here. I've given it to you. I'll send it on the group. I'm sure I've given you a hyphen here. Here, reading this here, how can you guys answer 5.5? A hyphen, there it is. My meaning, it can be used in compound words to link words to prefixes and to show word breaks. In this, is there anything that relates to the function of the hyphen in guilt lift? Why are they using a hyphen in line 4? Does anyone want to try or should I
To
give it?
show compound words
100%.
or
Is to,
compound adjectives.
yes, 100% is to join two words together. Do you all agree? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Who doesn't agree? Who wants to add? But that's basically the meaning or the function of the hyphen is to join two different words or compound words to make it sound like one. You see, so these documents that I create, I don't just create them for fun. You can use them as a refresher course. But one thing I did not add is the use of italics. But I don't even need to add it. I can already assume what the answer can be. Explain the use of italics in Scientia et Labora, line 5. Let's try this last question for us before we call it a night, guys. Alex, could that means no, here it is. Scientia et Labora. Anybody wants to try? Why is it in italics? Otherwise, segu late manje. I can give it to you guys. You guys have done well. So I'll give it to you guys. What I would say, the main use of italics is basically to emphasize a word or basically to distinguish the difference between words that you're normally used to and words that you're not used to. This, we can all agree that this is in a different language. Scientia et labora. So why are they using italics? At the use of italics in Scientia et labora is to differentiate that this is from a different language. It's not a common word, and hence why in the following sentence they try to try find the definition of what that could mean. Okay, the meeting is done, guys. Those online, thank you for joining us. I hope you have learned. Um, this recording will be uploaded. And yeah, guys, keep joining us for more lessons. I think we are learning a lot. Kuri, we are learning so much. We don't even keep track of time. But yeah, thank you for joining us and see you on the next one. Thank you so much.